Chosen one, you didn't stumble across this by accident. This moment was meant for you. Out of all the noise, out of all the distractions, this is your signal. This is your reminder that you're not average, not forgotten, and definitely not here by mistake. There is something extraordinary about you, even if life has tried to convince you otherwise. You've made it through things that would have taken others out. You've survived storms that no one even saw. And guess what? You're still standing. That's not weakness. That's proof of power. You're not just here to exist. You're here to shift, to rise, to break limits, to walk fully in what you were created for. So take a deep breath, chosen one. Everything you've been through was building you for this moment. You're not behind, you're right on time. Let this be your confirmation. Your purpose is real, your path is guided, and your story is just getting started. Let's go. You've always been more than what you were told. There's something inside of you that doesn't settle, doesn't silence, doesn't shrink, because you were never created to play small. The ache you've been feeling lately, that's not weakness. It's a signal, a pull, a sacred reminder that what you're carrying cannot stay caged much longer. You're not here by mistake. You're here on assignment. And everything around you shifting, breaking, or falling away isn't working against you. It's positioning you, looking for purpose and peace. Hit subscribe and start the journey. There comes a season where everything familiar begins to lose shape. You reach a strange intersection where clarity disappears, support thins out, and it feels like even the ground you once trusted won't hold your weight. The urge to retreat is strong. The temptation to question your entire existence is louder than ever. But this moment right here isn't a collapse, it's construction. What you're experiencing isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. The kind of invitation only sent to those with the guts to grow beyond what they thought they could endure. The noise is gone, so the truth can speak. The layers are peeling because your essence is emerging. This isn't you falling apart. This is you being reassembled with precision. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Those sleepless nights and unanswered prayers weren't wasted. They were clearing room for what couldn't coexist with your higher self. What seemed like silence was actually sacred instruction. Every disconnection, delay, and disruption was coded with purpose. You were never losing. You were being rewired. The version of you that used to beg for clarity is being replaced by one who embodies it. The one who questioned everything is becoming the one who needs no explanation. This isn't about fixing what broke. It's about birthing what's real. You're not returning to who you were. You're rising as who you've always been, beneath the noise, beneath the roles, beneath the expectations. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. So don't rush this part. Don't try to glue things back together that were never meant to stay. Let the undoing continue. Let the identity built in survival crumble so the one built in truth can take the throne. This chapter isn't where it ends. It's where everything begins. And what's being created through this process isn't fragile. It's eternal. Keep breathing. Keep going. What's forming inside you now is the most powerful version yet. There are moments on this path where it seems like the entire world stepped away at once. The noise fades. The plans stall. The rooms that once welcomed you go quiet. It's easy to mistake the stillness as abandonment, to feel like your voice vanished into a void with no echo. But what if the silence wasn't neglect? It was design. This isn't disappearance. This is divine engineering. You've been taken offline to be rebuilt from the inside out, not erased, refined. What looks like disconnect is sacred distance, the space between what you were and what you're becoming. Transformation isn't loud. It rarely has a witness, and that's the point. In this cloaked season, the unseen work is the most critical. This is not punishment, it's preparation. The temporary pause in progress is a sacred recalibration. Without the pressure to perform, your identity has the freedom to unfold authentically. You're not falling behind. You're being restructured to hold what couldn't rest on your former foundation. In isolation, distractions are stripped. Expectations lose volume. What's left is essence, the raw, unfiltered core of your being. And from that place, clarity emerges. The kind of clarity no applause can give, and no rejection can take. You're not being hidden to be forgotten. You're being protected from energies that can't hold space for who you're becoming. You're not cut off. You're being carried through a passage too sacred for crowds. What once felt like locked doors is divine timing preserving what must not be touched prematurely. Some breakthroughs cannot be witnessed. Some identities must first be formed in the quiet. The absence isn't void, it's a vault. Let the stillness do its work. Let it teach you how to move from inner alignment rather than outer approval. Let it train your ears to detect truth without external confirmation. What emerges from this process won't just shine, it will stand. And when you return from this holy solitude, you won't need to announce it. The shift in your energy will say everything, because those who are shaped in secret always re-enter with a weight that commands reverence. You were never cast out. You are called inward. And what's being shaped within you now will hold impact far beyond what noise ever could. Don't fear the hidden season. That's where legacy begins. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Isaiah 43:2. There's a reason that verse hits different when you're in the middle of something. Because it's not if the waters come, it's when. But here's the promise. You don't go under, you go through. That's the picture I want you to hold in your spirit right now. Imagine an old tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain slams, the lightning cracks across the sky. And that tree stays rooted, not because it's untouched, but because its roots run deep. You don't always see the roots, but you feel the strength they give when everything around is shaking. That's you, chosen one. What you carry inside doesn't always show on the surface, but it holds you when the storms come. And trust me, if the winds have been picking up in your life, that's not a sign you're off track. That's a sign you're about to rise. There are some people walking through life carrying invisible battles, battles that don't announce themselves, but still shape every step. The kind of inner weight that doesn't get posted or praised, but pushes you in ways nobody sees. You've been living in that place where the pressure is real, the silence is heavy, and the questions echo louder than the answers. But what if I told you that pressure isn't a curse? It's a call to awaken what's been buried, a call to step into what's been placed inside you all along. You're not just tired, you're being stretched. You're not just confused, you're being prepared. You're not falling apart, you're being put into position. There's a reason it feels like resistance at every turn. The resistance is real, but it's not to stop you. It's to build you. Just like muscle doesn't grow without strain, and gold isn't purified without fire, your spirit doesn't develop without pressure. This tension you feel, it's sacred ground. It's where your deeper strength is being formed. You weren't meant to escape it. You were meant to walk through it, transformed. Some of the hardest seasons of your life have been the most holy. That deep fatigue, that's not failure. That's the cost of spiritual growth. That ache in your chest when doors close or people walk away, that's not abandonment. It's alignment. Heaven isn't ignoring you. Heaven is preparing you. Sometimes God allows things to feel heavy, so you stop trying to carry them on your own. There's a refining that only happens in the middle of the tension, when you can't quite see where it's going, when you're stuck between what was and what's next. That's where identity is forged. That's where faith stops being something you say and starts becoming who you are. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. You're not here because you're weak. You're here because you've been marked for more. Every disruption that's come against you has a hidden instruction attached to it. Every delay has been your teacher. Every disappointment has been a sculptor. You're being shaped, not shattered, molded, not missed. Every setback has secretly been a setup for the strength that's starting to emerge. You've asked, why does it feel like everything hits all at once? Because purpose doesn't sneak in quietly. It comes with pressure. It comes with fire. It comes when the enemy senses that you're about to walk into something dangerous. For him, the storm is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're ready. It's the noise that rises when a chosen one starts to recognize their assignment. That's why you can't stop now. That's why you must hold the line, even when your knees are shaking, even when the vision isn't clear, even when it feels like you've cried more than you've prayed. This isn't just about surviving another trial. This is about becoming the version of you that was always inside, just waiting for the pressure to bring it to the surface. What feels like breaking is often birthing. And let me tell you something real. When you come out of this, you won't just be stronger. You'll be clearer. You'll be more rooted. You'll be carrying wisdom you didn't ask for, but needed. You'll speak from a place of authority you didn't have before. Because once you walk through this fire, you don't come out with ashes. You come out with oil. That's the kind of power that only comes through process. You see, people don't always understand what you carry. They see your smile, but not your wrestle. They admire your strength, but don't know the nights you spent holding yourself together. That's okay. This isn't for their approval. This is between you and the one who called you. You've been trying to figure out why it's been so intense lately. Why the pressure, the warfare, the inner weight won't lift. Let me be clear. The intensity of the opposition is the evidence of what's being born. You don't face that kind of pressure unless there's something precious inside of you, something sacred, something unstoppable. So lean into the stretch. Don't rush past the wrestle. There's a version of you that only the fire can introduce. And when the smoke clears, you'll be walking in authority, not just survival. You'll be leading with experience, not just words. And you'll carry a depth that didn't come from a sermon, but from a season. You're not just being tested, you're being entrusted. Heaven sees you, all of you. The struggle, the questions, the tears you didn't tell anyone about. And heaven is not shaken by any of it. In fact, heaven is standing behind you, cheering. They're rising, they're almost there. So don't quit. Don't bow to fear, just because the journey's been longer than expected. Don't shrink just because the battle got louder. The wind may blow, but you've got roots now. Deep ones. Grown in silence, strengthened in secret. And when the harvest comes, and it will, you'll remember that the storm didn't break you. It built you, not because of who you are on your own, but because of the power that's been placed within you. So stand tall, chosen one, not because everything is easy, but because your spirit has been made ready. You're not finished. You're just getting started. And the best part? The one who began this work in you. He's not done yet. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. There are those who carry a quiet depth, ones who do not truly awaken until something shakes the ground beneath them. When comfort dulls the senses and routine steals wonder, it often takes a disruption to crack through the numbness. Agitation doesn't schedule itself, it erupts. It arrives not to accommodate ease, but to jolt awareness. In the suddenness of upheaval, layers of avoidance fall away. That's when a person begins to remember they are more than survival. Existence without depth gives way to a confrontation with truth. Turmoil forces focus. It makes space by clearing what never truly served. In the ache, false identities crumble. The shallow roles vanish, and what remains is real, untouched by applause or approval. From that raw ground, something long forgotten begins to stir. This inner turbulence is not simply pain, it is recalibration. It digs into the buried roots of willpower, unearthing parts of self that silence and routine tried to erase. Before now, there may have been motion without meaning, breath without boldness. But now, there is a shift. What once slept behind fear begins to breathe again. The discomfort becomes a signal, not of defeat, but of reinvention. Not everything that hurts is harmful. Some ache is an invitation into deeper knowing, fuller power, unshakable clarity. In the still moments after the inner noise, the essence awakens, a strength sharpened by hardship, a clarity not born of peace, but persistence. This rising is not gentle, it is forged in tension, but it is real, not fragile, but formed, not broken, but reassembled with intention. In this disruption, reliance shifts. Control gives way to connection. What grows now is faith that was never needed in the calm, courage that is proven, not claimed, vision that sees past the surface. This process rewires the soul, and when reflection begins, what once felt like breaking is seen as the moment the real work began. From this reckoning comes not just survival, but activation. A voice emerges, not just louder, but truer. A presence rises, not just stronger, but rooted. That's what awakening through challenge looks like. It doesn't shrink the soul, it stretches it into fullness. Endurance doesn't just appear, it's sculpted through friction. There's a shaping that only begins when what once felt steady begins to shift. Frustration, closed paths, the sting of being unseen. None of it is wasted. What challenges the core is what strengthens the core. Inner fortitude doesn't emerge from a life untouched by conflict. It's carved out in moments when nothing makes sense, and forward is the only option left. Strain is not chaos, it's curriculum. Resistance arrives as a quiet mentor, not a cruel opponent. What looks like setback is often a mirror reflecting untapped capacity. Every interruption carries instruction, and every delay is a sharpening. The soul doesn't grow in predictable patterns. Its depth expands in disruption, when the familiar breaks and deeper reliance is demanded. When connection fades and applause is absent, something deeper calls. Approval loses its pull when identity is no longer outsourced. External silence teaches you to listen inward, and what you hear there becomes louder than any affirmation from the outside. Pain, rejection, fatigue, they are not ends, but entry points. Each one reshapes the reflex to flee and teaches instead how to stand still and learn. The confusion that once rattled you now redirects you. The wounds that once weakened you now refine your vision. This unseen growth isn't decorative, it's foundational. Not everyone will see it, but everything you carry now was built there. This power doesn't come from a title or a platform. It's born of days you had nothing left and still chose to believe. What you now hold within wasn't taught. It was cultivated through resistance that forced you into your true form. It's not that the weight lifted, it's that you became able to hold it. The atmosphere around you may not change, but the one within you has. And because of that, you no longer bend the way you once did. You've become unshakable, not because life softened, but because you no longer need it to. That is the strength built not from ease, but from the quiet, sacred battle to stay rooted. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Some people move through life unaware of their gravity, not realizing that their shift toward purpose sends signals far beyond the physical. The moment intention sharpens and alignment deepens, turbulence often follows. Not because something is wrong, but because something important is waking up. The disruption isn't random. It's not a coincidence when obstacles pile up as clarity begins to form. There are forces invested in keeping potential buried, in silencing voices before they rise into resonance. The friction is calculated. The pressure is strategic. Not everyone faces this level of resistance. Only those carrying blueprints meant to alter atmospheres. What opposes you recognizes what you are just beginning to hold. It sees the shift before you see the outcome. It senses momentum building beneath your surface and rushes to interrupt it before it grows legs. The pushback increases the moment you stop drifting and start directing. It does not happen because you are off course. It happens because you are almost there. What confronts you now is not punishment. It's a reaction. You've become visible to systems that were never designed to welcome your emergence. When the noise rises, it's confirmation that your presence has begun to stir sleeping ground. The confrontation is not the end game, it's the announcement. You've stepped into territory that stirs discomfort in every force that profits from your silence. But the very presence of resistance affirms the depth of what's inside you. You are no longer moving unseen. The very struggles attempting to wear you down are inadvertently affirming the weight you carry. Internal attacks, external blocks, the waves of doubt, they are aimed not at your past, but at your trajectory. Because the echo of your steps carries further than you think. Because your endurance unlocks doors, not just for you, but for those watching you. Every moment you refuse to fold, you rewrite the narrative. Every decision to move forward becomes a strike against fear. You weren't designed to blend in. You were sculpted to shift the atmosphere. And yes, the weight is real, but so is the power. And what rises in you now cannot be reversed. So let the conflict be your clue. Let it remind you you're stepping into something that threatens comfort zones you were never meant to live in. Keep advancing. The shadows stretch when the light approaches. That's what this is. The evidence you're awakening fully. Some carry within them a force so steady, not even chaos can dim its pulse. When everything around begins to twist and tighten, something deeper steadies instead of shattering. Adversity hasn't erased you. It's illuminated what was hidden beneath the surface all along. Clarity, depth, resolve, and unshakable spiritual anchoring. It's never been about being untouched by hardship. It's always been about what rises in you when nothing else seems to hold. Every disruption was an unveiling. Every interruption to your plans tore down borrowed definitions and rewrote your inner language. Not once were you derailed. You were redirected. Not one tear, silence, or closed path was wasted. Each discomfort widened the inner space meant to house vision. Each twist in the journey stripped you of what was never yours to keep and returned you to your truest design. What grew in the quiet became your compass. What whispered during loss became your roar. This essence, this internal current, unseen, unstoppable, was never drawn from the surface. It is soul-born. It was tested in silence and is now ready to move mountains. That fire inside you isn't performance, it's proof. Not because life smoothed out, but because you stopped needing it to. Your strength is no longer tethered to applause, environment, or validation. It is wired into your very breath, into your persistence when no one notices, into your peace when nothing looks resolved, into your choice to keep building even when the foundation trembles. You carry a current that doesn't flicker under pressure. It deepens, it expands, it reaches, and now it leads. This strength isn't for spotlight, it's for rescue. For those still beneath the weight you've already lifted. For those who need your steps to find their own. You're not walking for one, you're walking for many. Every ounce of resistance you've endured is now momentum. Every scar has become strategy. Every fall, a forge. You're not echoing what you've heard. You're radiating what you've lived. What fuels you now cannot be taken, only multiplied. No title made it, no system gave it. It was shaped by presence, in the dark, in the fight, in the stillness. That's what sets you apart. And from this place, you move, not with force, but with a certainty only the spirit can craft. You don't walk lightly anymore. You carry legacy in your steps, the kind that changes atmospheres just by showing up.